Hello and welcome to my research presentation. As you can see from the title, today we shall be talking about the therapeutic effects of camelids, or alpacas in this case, in the Anxiety Buster Showdown, Nature's Serenity versus Alpacas Zen versus Horses Harmony by Garcia, which is me on screen. So just before I begin, I would like to thank you all for your attention, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave the comment down below if this is within the window of the research conference, and if not, feel free to email me. My email details will also be at the end of this PowerPoint. So let's get on to the next couple slides. So who am I? Most of my friends and family know me as a superhero sidekick, but to you, the viewer watching this video, I am just simply Robin, a 22-year-old MSc counseling student from Bangor that comes from a background in psychology with over 100 hours of counseling experience. For as far back as I can remember, I have always been surrounded by animals. I believe this has taught me the value that animals, and in particular pets, can have on one's mental health. Saying this served as inspiration for focusing on the therapeutic effects alpacas could potentially have. So let's have a quick overview of what we are going to be covering in this 15-minute, give or take, presentation. So we're going to be looking at self-care, what it is and why it's important, the impact animals can have on self-care in terms of animal-assisted therapy, which is AAT, and the types of animals commonly used in that therapy, the rise of the internet, remote animal-assisted therapy, is that even possible, the methods of how I went about this research project, the results I gathered from this research project, and what those results mean, essentially what was found and what is next. So, self-care. I'm sure this is the phrase us counseling students have heard the most during our training, but what actually is it? Self-care can be defined as the intentional and proactive effort to address and nurture one's physical, emotional, and psychological welfare. But why is self-care different for counselors? Well, for counselors, self-care is not a luxury, but a vital practice essential for preserving their effectiveness and protecting their mental well-being. Knowing this, self-care can be seen as a duty to not only yourself, but client work as well, and failure to prioritize self-care may result in a reduced capacity for empathy, increased emotional fatigue, and a weakened therapeutic presence, ultimately affecting the therapeutic relationship and client progress. So how can we partake in effective self-care? Well, animals can help answer that question. Animals are fantastic tools in alleviating stress, anxiety, and depression, as well as fostering emotional regulation, social interaction, and a feeling of purpose. Animals not only serve as great self-care tools, but can also be included into the therapeutic realm. Animal-assisted therapy, also known as AAT, involves trained animals working alongside therapists to support individuals in addressing various mental health challenges. Through interactions with these animals, clients may experience reduced stress, improved mood, and enhanced social skills, contributing to their overall well-being. And if you look at the picture now, currently on the slide, there's a picture of the equine animal group, which are horses. They are the most common animal group in AAT alongside therapy dogs. So just a quick bit of information for you there. However, AAT doesn't come without its own set of challenges. One particular challenge being that the accessibility of therapy animals can differ significantly depending on the region and might be restricted to some areas. So, having heard this can serve to explain why this research study focuses on the camelid animal group, which are the alpacas. Over the years, the alpaca population has experienced a remarkable growth trajectory, capturing the attention of people worldwide. In the United Kingdom, the alpaca population has seen a significant increase, with enthusiasts and farmers alike recognizing the potential of these animals beyond the exquisite fleece. As interest in these alpacas continue to surge, people are beginning to explore the diverse range of roles and opportunities that these gentle creatures offer. So that again sort of leads to this research question, which is, can alpacas be useful in the therapy sense? Can they be as useful as traditional AAT animals, being that of horses, in this research project? So that question will be answered in a couple slides. So before I move on to the methods section, I feel it's important to acknowledge the influence the internet has had on counseling as a whole. While not necessarily linked to my research hypothesis, it provides great insight to future studies in this area. The emergence of the internet has initiated a profound change in the counseling sphere, creating fresh pathways for obtaining mental health assistance and resources. Online counseling enables individuals to access therapy from home, overcoming geographical, accessibility, and stigma barriers associated with traditional in-person counseling. But how can this be incorporated into existing therapy models, in particular AAT? Well, as of right now, the answer to that question is unknown. Although traditional in-person AAT has been thoroughly researched and proven effective, transition to online platforms offers a new method of therapeutic delivery that has not been sufficiently explored in academic literature yet. So this will continue to be discussed later on in the presentation. So looking at this method section, we shall begin with the participants. The target population for this study consisted of trainee mental health practitioners at or over the age of 18. We specifically targeted this population as we believe they could have benefited most from this type of self-care, and as established above, self-care is crucial to their therapeutic practice. For enlistment, Bangor student participants were recruited through the University Student Participation Panel, known as SONAR. Upon completion of the study, students received SONAR credits, which form an integral part of their undergraduate and master's degree. When it comes to recruitment outside of the Bangor trainee mental health practitioner, so towards the general trainee mental health practitioners, this consisted of word of mouth and social media advertising. For the total number of participants, we were initially looking at 84 participants. However, after data cleanup, which removed invalid or incomplete responses, we were left with a total of 18. The study had an age range of 18 to 54, with the average age of the participants being 25 years old. From the 18 participants that we had, 17 of them were female, with one participant being male. Looking at the research design, it followed a 2x3 mixed measures design. We did this as the adoption of a mixed methods research design allows for a more comprehensive exploration of the research question. By incorporating both quantitative and qualitative elements, this study can provide a richer understanding to the phenomena under investigation. We had a total of 3 groups, with one group serving as a control group, meaning that they were not shown any video footage of equines or camelids, instead being shown a video of just nature. The independent variable was a type of 5-minute video shown, which was assigned randomly by Site Toolkit, which was the program that we had assigned to this research study. Our dependent variable was the calm measure assessment, which the participants were asked to complete pre- and post-exposure to the 5-minute videos. This is a quick example of the calm measure assessment tool that was used in the study. Consisting of 3 subscales, the calm measure offers a thorough assessment of cognitive and physical anxiety symptoms along with subjective stress experiences. Participants were asked to rate the frequency and intensity of anxiety-related thoughts, physiological symptoms, and subjective experiences of stress over a specified period relating to their current emotional state. Now we move on to the results. Looking at the results presented, the mean scores for each group did decrease after watching the 5-minute videos. However, The ANOVA results indicated that no significance was observed in the study, with a p-value of 0.75. As no significance was found, it's impossible to draw any scientific conclusions from this data. However, we can still identify emerging patterns. So, moving into the discussion, let's point out some emerging patterns from the data shown. On the screen, the light blue marks indicate pre-video calm scores and the dark blue marks indicate post-video scores. Looking at the big picture, it can be seen that all the research groups did have a decrease in total anxiety score. This suggests that the type of 5-minute video shown did not matter. Whilst camelids did show a decrease, it cannot be suggested that they are more effective than traditional AAT therapy animals, which were the equines in this study. Nature performed just as well as animals did. With this being said, none of the research hypotheses were supported. We cannot say camelids have a greater effect than equines in reducing anxiety scores, and we also cannot say animals in general have a greater anxiety reduction effect than nature itself. This created some questions amongst the researchers as to what element exactly contributed to the overall anxiety decrease. It can be suggested that the removal of daily stresses and pace of life was all that was needed to reduce anxiety in the participants, and looking at research, it does support this. This could help explain the decrease in the calm scores. So, how did our research data compare to the already existing research that was out there? When looking at camelids, previous research accounts note that alpacas have a calming effect and could have some therapeutic viability. The results seen in our research could be seen to support this, as the camelid group did show an overall reduction in calm anxiety score. Equines are much more researched and have plenty of studies showcasing their therapeutic effects. The results could also be seen to support this. Nature is also well known to have anxiety-reducing effects. However, observation of nature from a distance is much more novel. From the existing research, there was one account in particular that mentions the positive effects that could occur when observing nature from a distance. So, this research could also be seen to be supported by our findings of the study. Taking the research project into perspective, it can be said that we are simply too early to the remote AAT party. Remote AAT has very limited research, with mixed results shown. While animals have been recognized in numerous studies for their therapeutic qualities, the transition to remote therapy sessions presents unique challenges that may hinder their effectiveness. The tactile and sensory experiences that are integral to the therapeutic bond between humans and animals may be compromised in the virtual setting, as participants are unable to physically interact with the animals or fully immerse themselves in the therapeutic environment. Additionally, the absence of in-person interactions may limit the ability of the animals to intuitively respond to participants' emotional cues and provide personalized support, thereby diminishing their therapeutic impact in the remote therapy video shown. Well, our findings were insignificant, but this study does have some implications. As mentioned earlier, remote AAT is still in its early infancy, so this research could be seen as forming a base for remote AAT. Though the research project didn't produce the anticipated results to validate any of our hypotheses, it still represents a pioneering effort, potentially laying the groundwork for future studies to build upon. It also can be seen as an attempt to expand the already existing repertoire of traditional AAT animals. This research project showcases that alpacas potentially function as therapeutic companions in remote environments, providing comfort, companionship, and emotional support to individuals facing anxiety, stress, or other mental health difficulties. So, what should future research focus on? Looking at future research, there are a couple avenues that could be considered. Firstly, establishing if remote AAT is even possible would be a great start. Upcoming research should strive to comprehend the mechanisms that drive the therapeutic benefits of remote AAT, encompassing physiological, psychological, and social processes. Secondly, research should focus on the long-term effects of remote AAT if it is possible. Longitudinal studies are essential to evaluate the enduring impact of remote AAT. By following participants over extended durations, researchers can uncover the lasting and consistent therapeutic effects, while also pinpointing any factors that might affect the course of improvement. So, the take-home message. Whilst this study didn't necessarily prove anything now, it's not to say it won't prove anything in the future. Alpacas are rapidly expanding in population all over the UK, and their therapeutic effects are beginning to be researched and recognized. Also, AAT could naturally evolve to include remote aspects, as the benefits of remote counseling are ever growing. And in a world that is ever changing, it's not too much of an assumption to assume that our already existing therapy models will adapt too. So that is the end of this presentation. I thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, please do leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I will reply to all of you as quickly as I can. Thank you very much for watching, and in the next slide there will be all the references that I have used and all of the studies that I have been talking about. So if you want to do some additional reading, you can look at those studies too. Thanks.